Every James Bond fan has a ranking, and every James Bond fan thinks everyone else's ranking is wrong. Some people insist Sean Connery will always be the real Bond. Others grew up with Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, or Daniel Craig. But out of 25 official Bond films, these are the 5 every 007 fan needs to watch. And yes, I'm sure that not everyone will agree. Starting at number 5 is Octopussy, Roger Moore's 6th outing as James Bond. It's strange, campy, occasionally ridiculous, and much better than people remember. The story sends Bond into a Cold War plot involving stolen Soviet treasures, a nuclear bomb, and a traveling circus. It also gives us one of the most bizarre moments in Bond history. 007 dressed as a clown while desperately trying to stop a nuclear explosion. That sounds absurd because it is, but the moving train sequence, exotic locations, and Roger Moore's effortless charm make Octopussy one of the franchise's most entertaining underdogs. Number 4 is From Russia with Love. Before the franchise became obsessed with giant secret bases and increasingly elaborate gadgets, Bond was primarily a spy. And this movie might be the purest espionage thriller in the entire series. Sean Connery's Bond is assigned to retrieve a Soviet encryption device while Spectre quietly manipulates everyone involved. The movie is tense, deliberate, and surprisingly grounded. Its brutal fight between Bond and Red Grant aboard the Orient Express still feels dangerous because it looks less like choreography and more like two men genuinely trying to survive. Number 3 is Casino Royale, the movie that introduced Daniel Craig and completely rebuilt James Bond for a new generation. This Bond wasn't polished yet. He made mistakes, lost his temper, and occasionally looked like he had been hit by an actual human being. The movie's poker showdown with Le Chiffre gives the story tension without requiring the world to explode every 5 minutes. But what really separates it from most Bond films is Vesper Lynd. Bond's relationship with Vesper makes him more vulnerable and gives the movie emotional consequences that extend far beyond the final action sequence. Casino Royale proved that James Bond could become more human without becoming less dangerous. At number 2 is Goldfinger, the movie that gave the Bond franchise its permanent identity. The extravagant villain, the memorable henchman, the outrageous plan, the gadgets, the one-liners, the Aston Martin DB5. Almost everything people picture when they hear the words James Bond movie was either established or perfected here. Auric Goldfinger is larger than life without becoming completely cartoonish. Oddjob turned a bowler hat into a legitimate weapon, and Sean Connery looks completely comfortable as 007. Other Bond movies may be darker, faster, or more emotional, but few have ever been more Bond than Goldfinger. Our number 1 choice is The Spy Who Loved Me. This is Roger Moore's Bond formula working exactly as intended. Enormous action, exotic locations, ridiculous technology, a charismatic lead, and a villain's plan that makes absolutely no sense until you remember you're watching James Bond. Bond teams up with Soviet agent Anya Amasova to stop Karl Stromberg from triggering a nuclear war and creating a new civilization beneath the ocean. The movie also introduced Jaws, whose steel teeth made him one of the franchise's most recognizable villains. And then there's the opening ski jump. Bond launches himself from a cliff, appears to fall to his death, and suddenly a Union Jack parachute opens above him. It's audacious, slightly ridiculous, and completely unforgettable. In other words, it's James Bond. Those are our 5, but there's no such thing as a James Bond ranking that everyone accepts. Should GoldenEye be here? Did we disrespect Skyfall? Is putting Octopussy above every Pierce Brosnan movie completely unreasonable? Tell us your top 5 in the comments, and subscribe to Wirefalls for more movies, nostalgia, sports, and the everyday things people still love arguing about.